I feel like most of the books I read this year can be categorized into sad fiction or sad non-fiction. Hi, my name is Jen, and it is the end of the year. Last year I made my own book awards, but I only shared them with few loved ones. So this year I figured I would make a video, so let the Jenskosmos book awards begin. The first category is Congrats! Jen read you this year award, and it goes to all books I read this year. I think instead of focusing on how many books I read, whether amount X is a lot or a little, I think we ought to celebrate just any bit of reading, in my opinion, especially in this world of hurry and short attention span. Okay, and the funniest read award, and here I do not mean haha funny, but the book that was most fun and entertaining to read goes to Dominica de Rosa, The Eternal City. It was easy to get into the story of this novel. 3 siblings lost their father and they want to honor his memory by burying him in his home city of Rome, Italy. The family lived in England and they have an English mother, and the main character, Gabby De Angelis, uses the trip to think about like her identity, being English and Italian, what makes her happy, etc. It was sweet and fun, and though these themes are quite large if you think about it, they didn't feel so serious. Also, I had a bad case of travel fever when I read this book, so it reminded me of my own time when I visited Rome. The saddest book award. I feel like most of the books I read this year can be categorized into sad fiction or sad non-fiction. So it was really difficult to choose just one book for this one, but I'm gonna go with Mornings in Jenin by Susanna Abulhava. The novel tells the story of what happened to the Abu Heja family after the 1948 Nakba in Palestine, and although the story and the characters are fictional, the main elements of the novel are based on reality. It came across to me that the author wrote about the family's tragedies like in a straightforward manner rather than romanticizing the struggle, and the novel does not really have a happy ending either, which reflects the reality of many Palestinians, but it is very well written and I definitely recommend reading it. Best Fiction Award goes to A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, and yes, I read this one in Finnish. When I first started to read this book, I feared that it would include traumatic events as shock value, but ultimately, though, this was a story about 2 women, Mariam and Layla, who are arranged to marry the same man but 1 generation apart. And of course it was upsetting and emotional and heavy to read. While reading, I felt like I was Layla and Mariam's friend and I was rooting for them, and the bittersweet ending had me really emotional, and that's why it's the best fiction book I read this year. Okay, best non-fiction award goes to When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. Reading this reminded me of the joy I felt whenever I had history classes in school. I loved learning about the female deities prior to the 3 Abrahamic religions. I also wished some of the things that were mentioned here had been taught in school. This book really challenged me and had me contemplating big questions of life regarding faith. It had a really deep impact on me. The worst book of the year award, and I might get hate for this, but it's Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. I reread Anna and the French Kiss this year because I wanted something fun to read, but I realized I had never read the following parts of the series, so I decided to read both of them this year, and Lola was the worst one of them. So first off, and I do not care what anyone else thinks, for me, if a big part of a novel is a 5-year age gap relationship between a minor and an adult, Lola was 17 and the guy, whoever, was 22. It's a huge red flag to me. The power imbalance, consent, all that, is not... I'm not here for it. The relationship was not well written either, so it was more like this forced, fake teenage rebellion type of phase, and I'm just not here for that. And thankfully the couple did break up, but I did not really get the romantic head over heels feeling of Cricket and Lola's bond. It was more so like, oh, I have a cute neighbor, and then we got together, you know? And I didn't really find the main character Lola likable either, and nothing unique about her, so I feel like the side characters were more exciting than the main character. So I was not a big fan of Anna and the French Kiss, but like compared to Lola, that book is excellent. Okay, and the best book of this year. And at first I was just gonna go with the book that made me most emotional. But then I started to think about questions of what book challenged me the most, which book did I learn the most from, which book did I have great conversations about with my loved ones? And the answer to all of those is When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. I was just so in awe when I finished this book, and there was so many like things I had never heard about, like huge cultures and communities, and I had never heard of them, and it really got me thinking about things I've learned and thought about, and I just had the most amazing conversations, you know who you are, about this book. And the reading experience was just something that I had never experienced before, like the feeling of learning something completely new and developing into, well, what could have been thinking and so on. I mean, the chapter title 8 is They Offered Incense to the Queen of Heaven, and then chapter 9, And the men of the city shall stone her with stones, you know, a repetition, but like, wow, just wow. You can pause the video to read some things that I found interesting in When God Was a Woman. Okay, in conclusion, I wanted to make a video about all the books I read this year, but as I mentioned earlier, I personally feel like it can get very competitive and all about the numbers rather than the reading experience. When I see videos of reading, I read X amount of books, or I hear comments like, oh, X amount of books isn't enough. I don't know, it just makes me feel iffy. Like, I even stopped using Goodreads because I was comparing myself to others and felt like my reading speed was too slow. And maybe it is. But I did make a Storycraft account recently. I probably won't update it that much, like that often, but it's in my description if you want to check it out. And the only resolution I will have this year is to read more of my own books rather than purchasing new books. So end of the year, wow. I think from this point on, I will focus on posting videos every 2 weeks. These 4 videos were just for me to get used to the idea of writing and filming and editing a video. I hope I see you in 2022 as well. 2022 does not feel like a real year, or me turning 25 like at all. Let's not go there. Please leave a comment about all the books you read this year. I would love to hear about them, and thanks for watching. I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!